What we're about to do is we're about to have a workshop on how to use the media more effectively for smaller BME organisations, and hopefully I'm going to talk about my experiences of working with a small BME organisation, Muslim Aid, and how we engaged with the media, what kind of techniques we used, some of the kind of learning from that, and some of the experiences at Oxfam as well, and trying to apply those to small organisations to see how they can effectively build their media awareness as much as possible. What I want to get out of today is basically to start generating some ideas, have a discussion, very informal discussion I hope, and look at ways in which we could sort of carry on working together, supporting each other beyond this event. So it's not just a one-off, we actually stay in contact. Hopefully we can get an email group going and we can sort of support and help each other on an ongoing basis. What we were trying to do, what we found really effective as a very small BME organisation, was the power of the human interest story to the media. That was the one thing that when I spoke to journalists, when I spoke to the media, you know, they were saying to me, you know, don't give us facts, don't give us statistics, you know, tell us something new, tell us about the person who's gone and the child who's gone and raised loads of funds for Cyclone Sidr, who lives in Tower Hamlets, and how he's gone about getting money from the school, and you know, tell us about the individual personal stories, because that's what we're interested in. And that worked for BME and for mainstream. So it was really about getting the human interest story out, really. Now we did send out releases, we did send out press releases every time something would happen, but we had to be aware that, you know, it wasn't a case of doing a press release every time we would have an event or every time we felt there was a need to speak. So what we found is that if we're going to send out press releases, we're only going to do it at key moments that we feel are really newsworthy and are really going to cut through with the media. You know, things that are different, things that are, you know, what's new about a story? You know, are we saying the same thing? Are we saying something new? Is there a human interest element to this? Another way to kind of pitch, as to say, to pitch towards the media, was to use people, well-known figures. We were quite fortunate at Muslim Aid at one point where we had Michael Jackson's brother come in and support us on some work, Jermaine Jackson, and we found that got huge cut through. That we found that we got CNN, we got BBC, just for the fact that we had a celebrity, a well-known name. So even if that means an MP or a community figure or a community leader, somebody who is well known, who has a place, getting them to say a quote, which obviously is not going to have any damaging effects on your organisation or on what they're doing, but you know, getting them on board in some capacity can also help to pitch your story, whatever that might be.
What are the tricks then? I mean, you know, you talked about having headline grabbing kind of messages. I mean, what are the types of headline grabbing messages that you would suggest to small organisations?
Find out who you want to target in terms of the media. Pick up the phone and start. The first thing to do is really start to build up a relationship, if you haven't already done that, with a key journalist. Let them know what you're doing. Let them know what it is that the work that you're doing. Trying to sell them something that's new, that's a different angle. Trying to find a story within some of the people that you might be working with. Trying to find personalities within those communities who might be great spokespeople, who might be able to talk about something that your organisation is doing. Could be a nice angle for pitching into the media. Having a really good briefing is really important, because sometimes you might get journalists coming to you and it might be something negative, it might be something that you might not want to necessarily delve into too much. But what we do is we have a briefing as to what we can and can't say and how we can sort of get around saying things. And the way we do that is by doing a frequently asked questions sheet. So you basically just write down all of the kind of questions that you think are going to come up, are going to be asked, and then you write an answer for that question. And then that's your kind of brief really about what you want to kind of talk about.
One of the reasons I'm here today is to maybe pick up some tools and key messages on how to inform the public.
Yeah.
Raise your profile among the public so they understand what you are, particularly during these times and the next 5 years.
Something that is visible, something that is done, an outdoor activity or something where you can just you can get a few people together to hold up a placard or something and just say that this is a media summit, because then you'll get photographs and then those photographs can be sold into the... a good example is that is Copenhagen climate change. We got some people to dress up as polar bears and say "Save the Humans," and it got huge coverage over BBC just on that basis. You know, and they had the little Oxfam branded logos. So you could have your key message and you could do a little stunt and you could get the local press to come and take pictures and those kind of things. So, you know, there are things that can be done, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, I think what we found from this session is people took away some useful tips. They took away some learning. I think hopefully they'll start the conversation around the importance of media work. They'll start the conversation with journalists. They'll start talking to media outlets. And hopefully we've sort of helped to sort of boost some of the ideas and the kind of ways forward really into kind of really building huge awareness around our organisations.